Page 18, My Way. Really ugly looking thing, but it's a pretty song. You got eighth notes all over everywhere. Common timer, 4/4 time. 1 flat, we're in the key of F major. At the top they talk about the broken chord style in the left hand. Now if you're into improvising, this is one of the patterns you can use. It talks sort of an arpeggiated pattern. Well, that's a fancy word that means you go up and down. An arpeggio is a type of broken chord pattern, because a broken chord can be any kind of pattern. Anything that's not blocked altogether, anything that's not that is a broken. And there's all kind. I can do it here. That's broken. I can do here. That's broken. I can do that. There's all kinds of patterns for broken chords. But the arpeggiated pattern is simply where you go up or down or both. And that's what they're doing. Look at the first measure in the left hand. You have it's an F chord, it's a broken chord, and you're simply going up and down. Here. And that's the pattern. That's an arpeggiated pattern. Isn't that nice? It's just so forth. That's what's going on with the. I'll come back to that when I get to the left hand. Let's talk about the right hand. It has a pickup beat. We're coming in on beat 4. Well, that's fine because you got 3 beats in the last measure there at the bottom of page 19. Yep, that works that way. And our fingering, they want here and 4th finger. And I don't know why, other than they don't want you to have to use 4 here, and I disagree with that. I would encourage you to use these awkward fingers. The more you use them, the less awkward they get. They'll always be awkward. It's the physical way the hand is made. But try and use them. Don't shy away. So I'm recommending you use 5th finger on that. So it's 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 because it's tied. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. This is rather repetitious, isn't it? Oh, wonderful. The second line there, 1 and 2, because it's tied. The F sharp is tied, so hang on to it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now they want 3rd finger. Are you kidding me? 4th finger. Use 4th finger. Just so it's 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Hopefully this rhythm is not a problem for you. It's all over the place. 3rd line, you have here 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and. Just stay where you are here. They want here. You can get away with it because of the phrasing. You got to lift up, but I like the finger things legato. So I'm just going to stay here, and I'm going to 4, 5, and then we can come up, scratch up, and use 3rd finger here. And we're in that position. And now I reckon this is the bottom of page 18, the last 2 measures. Here, and then for the C, scratch up, use a little finger. And then 4 if you would. I think it would be better if you use 4 on the A. That way you can reach the C better. Top of page 19, look out. It's 1, 2, 3. See, the G's tied, but the F changes to an E. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then 2nd finger's good because you're right there. And then I like their fingering there. Now if your hands are big, fat fingers and all that, and you can't reach up in here, you got to finger that way. So it's here. You're going to need a little finger on that last 8th note. So you can do it. Otherwise, actually, if you want to use a little finger on the last 8th note anyway, that works out better because you're right there. I think that's a better fingering, actually. And just in case you thought you had the rhythm down, no, guess what? They stuck in a triplet. You got to love them. Just got to love them. This is the end of the first line on page 19. It's 1, 2, 3, 3, and because it's the A's on 3, and the other two notes are in between the beat. When the left hand's not playing it, but they need to be even. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and this is where you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and you think there's no 4. Well, 4 is in there, but I can't say it because I'm in the middle of and. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and. So just make those notes, those 4 notes, all even. And then you're back to the 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 2 and 3. Now that's a B flat there. And they want 4th finger on that. I disagree. Stay where you are. You don't need 4th finger. This is the 2nd line last measure. Just 1, 3, 5 is fine. Because in the next line, when you got to move up, you got an 8th rest. Just move up. And you can do 2, 3, 5 here if you want. Or 1, 3, 5. I'll leave that up to you. I usually do a 2 because I want to keep my hand out here. And then you go up here, or this if you have to. You can do 1, 2, 4. If that doesn't work, you can do 2, 3, 4. Or 2, 3, 5. Whichever. But if you can, do the 1, 2, 4. And then during the rest, you come up again. It's an A, C, and a G. This is the last 2 lines on page 19. Here, 2 and 3. And then they want you to come up 5th finger again. Ooh. If you got big hands and can handle this, try this. It's a little more advanced. This is the 4th line down, 1st measure on page 19. You're here. I got an A coming up here. To accommodate that, what I want to do is I want to put 4th finger on it. I'm just going to substitute. So you got to have fairly big hands for this. If you can do that, then your little finger's ready. And so if you got hands are big enough, try that finger substitution. Otherwise, you're stuck with this here and allowing the pedal to help you connect it. And then go on. If you don't want to do that, you can do that. The problem is then you go on little finger. And here, you're pretty much stuck there if you want to connect them in the last line. You're 1, 2, 3. And then go up. 3. And then here. Connect. That's the last 2 measures. Connect the G and the F. And then the F chord at the end. Left hand, broken chords. 1 and 2. Now, look at the pattern. We're kind of going down here to here. You see the first note of each of these things is kind of going down. For that reason, I'm going to suggest 4th finger on the half notes. So it's here. They're starting with 4th finger. You can start with 5th, I don't care. But make sure it's 4th finger here so you can connect it to the A. And then 4th finger again, and then go on. Your 2nd finger then on the G. 4th finger there so you can connect it. Now, 2nd line, 1st measure, you don't need 4th finger on the half note because you're going to go back up. And to go back up, we're in this position. So use 3rd finger, then 4th finger, and then 5th, 4th finger there, and 3rd line down 1st measure you don't need 4th again because we're not continuing to go down. I'm using 4th finger when I have to go down. So my little finger's reserved for that. But if I don't need to, then I can use 5th. So the 3rd line down is 5th finger, and I'm fine. Because I'm connecting all these. And then last line on page 18, 5. You see I can come in and out. I don't have to stay up here. I don't recommend it. Come in. And now the last 2 measures on page 18, if you want, you can use 5, 3, 2. Stay out here or here. It's up to you. And then 2. 2 there, 2. because at the top of page 19 you need a D flat there. Here, and then the second measure, 1, 2, 3, and we got the triplet. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and then the eighth notes. And I just alternate between 1 and 3. It's up to you on the fingering here. I don't recommend using the same finger. So you can decide on which fingering you want to use. It's up to you, because you're going to do this forever. And then second line, or third line, second measure, up here, go ahead and use the fourth finger, not fifth, because you're coming off of here, you can go. So make sure you end up third line down, first measure. Just make sure that last F is with the thumb. Whether if you have to play two thumbs together, don't care. Just make sure it's the thumb so you can come over with fourth finger. And then fifth finger. Fourth finger for the fourth line, because I'm coming off of a G. Now, you can do that, and then for the next measure, fifth finger's fine if you want, or you can just reach up and do 4 again. Because for the half note, I need fourth finger. This is the fourth line down, second measure. You can do 5 or 4, but for the half note, I need fourth finger because I'm going to go down again. So it's because I got a G coming up. And for the last measure, I recommend 5, 2, 3. Like so, because in the last line, I got to come down to C. This way I'm closer to it. If I do this, then I got to go do that. I don't like doing that. So you see the fingering I'm using kind of depends on what comes after or what comes before. You have to consider it all together. And then the last two measures, 1, 2, 3, and that's 5, 2 there, so I can connect it. Put the hands together, so it's here. So if you're thinking eighth notes all the way through, it's not a problem because you got eighth notes in one hand or the other. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it's rather repetitious. I don't feel I really need to play all of it. Let's go to the top of page 19, where you're here. Remember that E here, so it's here, and then change it here. So again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 3 and through all that mess. Let's go down to the bottom of the page. Last line, we're here, more or less. Just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And hold that left hand down as you play that last chord in the right hand. And you just hold on to both of those for a while for the fermatas. Yeah. It's not a fast piece, fortunately, so we can work this out. It's just that the fingering I'm trying to work out, I want to connect everything with the fingers if I can. I may not connect it in the piece because of the phrasing. I still want to connect it with the fingers if I can. I want to be able to connect it, I guess I should say. Then we add the phrasing of... So you follow the phrasing if you want to. It's fine. Usually you can follow the words, and if you follow the sentences of the clauses in the words. So the second line, first measure, lift up, connect. Now they send lift up between the phrase and the left hand. Keep it all connected. Everything connected. So I'm lifting up in the right hand with like taking a breath and going on, but the left hand is all connected, except for the rest, of course. Now you have a few accents here and there. I disagree with the accents. Look at the bottom of page 19. the last couple of measures, they have an accent. You're very loud here, fortissimo. I don't need an accent on very loud, just play it very loud. And then the last measure is also very loud. I don't need accents on those, just play them loud, very loud. Yeah. Don't get too carried away with very loud. Try and make it musical. Collapse the wrist. Don't play with a stiff wrist. I'll show you very loud. No, it's real gentle, very loud. So be gentle about it, but be very loud about it. Now, second line on page 19, you see in between the stabs, crescendo poco a poco. That means get louder little by little. So we're starting moderately loud here. In my opinion, you might start moderately soft, but you're being moderately loud with accents. You don't need the accents, just play it moderately loud. Or the accent of the first note of the second line, you don't need the accent, just play it loud. And you're going to crescendo little by little until you get to the bottom of the page where it's loud. Well, that's just silly. I'm not going to take the, 8 or 9 measures, whatever it is, to go from moderately loud to very loud, because there's not that much difference. There's only a loud in between. So we have to figure it out. So I'm going to take it. You're going up the piano. You're here, and then we're going to here, and then here, and then here. We're getting a hair. Well, with each of those, I'll get just a hair louder. So at the beginning of the second line there, I'm moderately loud. Just a hair louder now. Now a little louder. A little louder. I'm going to stay at that I'm loud here. I'm going to stay here pretty much until at the bottom of the hairpin, the arrow. Then I'll go up to very loud. And this has to be louder than this. So don't overpower it. I want to hear that. And that's very loud. There. Because you did it your way. So there. Speed-wise, well, you find recordings of this, and they'll be at different speeds. You have to decide if you're going to sing these eighth notes, how fast do you want to sing those? Just so keep that in mind. Just a real gentle piece all the way through. Don't speed it up. The tendency will be to speed it up when you get over to page 19 in the second line. The tendency, you'll want to speed that up. Hold off. Keep it the same speed throughout the whole thing. Then we add the pedal. And we've done all this without pedal because I want to know the fingers are doing all the stuff they're supposed to do. And again, they're keeping the pedal simple for you. They're pretty much just overlapping everything. And so if I pedal it the way they're showing, this is what we get. Sounds okay to you, fine, go with it. I think it sounds terrible, absolutely terrible. Ugh. That is an example of pedaling and not really listening to what's going on. I don't want to catch all of this in a pedal. I don't want all that. So what I'm going to do basically is I'm going to pedal the first 2 beats of most every measure. I'm not going to pedal the eighth notes then in the right hand. So it's here. See, after I play that half note, I'm going to lift the pedal up. So on like at the end of the first line going into the second line, I don't pedal until the F sharp. I don't want to catch any of that other stuff. So at the last measure, the first line, and I'm lifting the pedal up with the hand. I want to hear the phrase. And I don't pedal the fourth beat. I want to hear the phrase. Again, the third line down, second measure, I don't pedal until the eighth notes. I don't want both of these. I don't want both of that. Ugh. So I wait until the eighth note, or the A. Lift up, so we hear the phrase. And the last two measures at the bottom of page 18. Lifting the pedal up with the right hand, I want to hear the phrase. At the top of page 19, on the last two measures, I don't pedal those at all. I don't want to smear that. See, that's just yuck. So just don't pedal them. So the first line of page 19 is there. Now here again, this is we have to give and take when we pedal. I mean, what do you like, what you don't? We got this, and I got this. Well, I'd like to pedal this. I don't want to pedal this. But they're going on at the same time. So if I pedal the first two beats, it sounds like that. So it's like here. Yeah, I don't care for that. So I may have to put up with the blurriness here because I want to connect the eighth notes. And to me, it's more important to connect the eighth notes in the left hand than the blurriness, so it's here. But when I get to the third line, second measure, it's back to just the first two beats. You get the idea of what I'm trying to say. I sped this up a lot. I don't want this video to last forever. Then when you get down to the last line here, because it's getting loud now, and when it tends to get loud, we tend to use more pedal. So we have more overtones. It helps it. So it's a fuller sound. So the last line is here. You can actually go ahead and blur that. Because we want the overtones. Now if those eighth notes were really super slow, I'd pedal each one separate because I want the overtones. However, it's not that slow, so I can go ahead and put up with the blurriness, I suppose. Now on the, I tend to lift the pedal maybe on the last of those notes, like the B flat, right there, and then pedal that. Or just don't pedal the triplet. That's two. I don't want to blur it. And then hold it down and lift the pedal and the hands at the same time at the end. Something like that. You have to experiment with the pedal and see what kind of sounds you're really after. Just keep in mind that this type of song, it starts out real simple and soft, and it gradually builds up the excitement throughout the piece. So you're starting simple and soft, and by the time you get to the end, at the bottom of page 19, you're loud and excited. And you just gradually build it up. The kicker is, the thing I have a real tough time with is as I do that, gradually build it up, I want to speed it up. I just naturally, so you may need to use a metronome for a while to help keep it down. So you get the idea of that beat. Just think eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3, and to keep that going throughout, and that'll help to keep it slower.